development trees, which was some way of study. This was the project that was carried out on 2008 till 2010, and one of the objectives of the project was to investigate how different weathering causes the physical change in nature of the timber material. So I'll be discussing basically these four things. So I'll just quickly go through necessity of protective coatings, and then weathering of how the weathering affects problems of the timber, with effect on different Japanese timber, and regression analysis which was done for different sampling of the timber. So this is a pretty basic thing. Timbers are hygroscopic in nature, so it has the ability to observe and give out moisture coming from the surrounding atmosphere, and then the moisture absorption changes changes the weight of the timber. As a result, can affect the dynamic properties of the blade. And then further exposure of the timber is to the nature will deteriorate the surface, resulting in bending and cracking of the blade material, and a proper selection of protective coating is very necessary. So this is the wind power map of Nepal. So you can see the red spots in the upper portion of the map, which is basically the Himalayan region. There are basically three regions in the country. So the upper part comprises of the Himalayan region. The middle part is actually a mountain region, which I have not mentioned in the map, but yeah. So, and the lower region is the Tarai region. So from the map, you can basically see that the entire, most of the parts in the Himalayan region has the potential for wind energy. But the point that I've kept this map in this slide is because this part of the country, the weather is so dynamic, it changes all the time. Like in the morning, it's like most of the time foggy, misty, and then during the daytime it's like sunlight, it's pretty warm. And then during the night time it's pretty cold. So the weather is something that is constantly changing during different parts of the day. So what we did was we collected 8 samples of different timbers, which you can see its common name and scientific name, and density of each of these timber materials starts descending or from the top with its moisture content. And the test was carried out in our office, which we used to be located at a place called Tuli Hill. It's basically in the mountain of it's in a mountain which is actually 1700 meters above sea level, so quite suitable place for testing. Doing some tests. So the weather tests, we collected data for rainfall, humidity, and wind speeds, and some temperature for the weather conditions. So I'll be just going quickly through how weathering causes effect. Like one of the basic effect is changing color of the timber surface, development of chips and cracks, bending of the timber, growth of fungus and bacteria in the surface, and ultimately it is disease. So in this picture, I've tried to differentiate between upper and lower surface of the timber, and it's basically a timber that is on-coated with any protective coating. So in the entire period of testing, during the different weather conditions, there is a presence of black mold type structure, and in the upper surface that is directly exposed to the sun, while on the bottom surface the intensity of its effect is quite less. While in the below two pictures, figure 4 and figure 5, it also depends on some cases like slight checks and cracks can be seen in this timber. While one of the things is that in figure 5, with the presence of any knots in the timber, and with the continuous effect of different weathering conditions, the effect of weather can very easily start from this knot in the timber surface, which can take quite some significant effect during a longer run. So there are some cases of bending which are typically spring type bending, bow type bending, spring type bending, and twist bending. And the bending actually depends on how the timbers have their fiber alignment in them. So depending upon this fiber alignment and continuous weather conditions, the timber deforms itself over time. And in the twist type bending, even if you put any type of protective coating, but if it has any percentage of moisture content in itself, then it easily bend itself irrespective of the coating that it's been put up with. So there are some growth of fungus and bacteria being observed in the surface of timber, which is again with some pictures with coatings and some pictures without coating. And in the first picture, you can see the black ones easily surfacing in the edges of the timber, while some fungus being in the side surface, which is actually not exposed directly to the sun, and some black moles in the timber without coatings, followed by some growth of fungus structures on the coating that has been done with primer and enamel coat. So these different types of coatings are actually selected because of its readiness, of its availability and cost, because it's so easily found. And one of the problems is that with the wind resource being in this difficult parts of the country, the type of coating that needs to be applied needs to be very easily available and less expensive. So these were basically the type of coatings that are used, like varnish coating, which is a clear wood finish coat, black Japan, which is also very commonly available in the country. It's a synthetic primer, and wood primer and white enamel pens, which is also very commercial in paint, and finally the resin pen. So in this graph, I've tried to plot different variations of temperature, outdoor humidity, and the cumulative rainfall that was logged across the year. And the blue one is the temperature, the green one is the rainfall, cumulative rainfall, and the red one is the humidity. And the different cluster of lines you can see over there is the variation in weight of the different timbers, which I'll be showing in much more detail in the following graph. Weathering of different coatings. So, what was the minimum and maximum change in weight of the timber without coating? So, basically, the sal starting with more, density seems to be less affected, followed by some other timbers which are basically softer and becomes more prone to the weather effect. With 4 varnish coats, which is a clear wood coating, the portion of the timber which is directly exposed to the sun seems to be just weathered up, while the bottom surface you can see some arousal of this black mold. But the minimum and maximum change in weight of the timber is quite less. It's about 10% with most of the timber. With the black Japan 4 coats, with the one that is okay, so it's a black paint, and it's because it has the ability to take heat. Blisters easily appear in them, and it's not a good idea. While with the indirect exposure, it seems to sustain itself regarding all of it. So the percentage variation is also not that much. While with the primer coats and enamel coats, it is one of the most. It was found to be quite good course if provided if it's done properly. I just put slight detail in how it was done. So first you start with coating a finely sanded timber with the prime paint, and then again sanded so that it's more finely blends with the timber. Then followed by enamel coats, which is a synthetic paint. So while this procedure was adopted, the paint seems to sustain more, while it was not with, while it was done with the other improperly. While the same thing, a significant effect was seen with other foods. The lactic seems to be sustaining itself, the percentage change in deviation quite a bit. While once the soft protein but to me seems to be not sustaining that. Okay, so with the resin paints, we did it with the directly exposed surface to the sun, and again the same thing. So what the problem was that again the moisture trapping between made the paint to crack itself at the while again some blackness was seen on the unexposed surface. The percentile change in deviation was about 15%. So with the regression analysis of different coatings with the amount of measurements that we collected, modeling that we have done. So basically most of the coatings follow the graph. Blah blah blah, and then so yeah, it's important for the timbers to be dry. Applications like color paint, obviously, primer and enamel paint was effective. Mostly that was observed, and then paints seems to tend pull away from the sharpeners. It can open effect seems to be before the application. Seeing this one, I would like to finish my presentation, and I would be open towards your suggestions and anything. Thanks.